Hey, what's happening, guys? My name is Rishabh, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a simple keyboard like this one. So, our tool of choice is going to be Adobe Illustrator. Let's just launch it. So, I'm going to make a document. Okay, what's wrong with my speech today? So, I'm going to make a document which is 500 by 500 points, and let's just name it keyboard. Fine. And okay, so now the first thing that we need to start out with is the keys. The keys are pretty simple. We're just going to use a rectangle tool for this and start off by creating a kind of vertically long rectangle, something like that. This looks fine to me. And now we need to make 1 octave of the keys of the keyboard. So 1 octave is like C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes back to C. That is how the musical keys work. So I'm just going to hold down the Option key and make copies of that. That is C, D, E, F, G. That is again A, B, and C. Sorry, it is A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, what's wrong with these? Okay, yeah, A. Okay, I'm starting off with the wrong key. It starts with a C. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and make sure while you're making the copies you have the snap to point activated, because that is how it is going to snap to the points and you don't have to worry about them being out of alignment. Now we are going to make the smaller black keys. The black keys sit between the C and D, the D and E over here, and there's no black key in between these two notes, and there'll be black keys here, here, and here. So let's start off by making smaller rectangles. And oops, okay, so I guess that should be fine. Let's see how it looks when you place it right there, and you can see how it snaps to the right, to the center of where these two white keys intersect. So that is what that is where we want this black key to be, and then it intersects to the upper line. So I think that looks perfect. Now we need to make copies of this as well, so we're going to make a copy right here, and next you have to leave the spot, make 1 copy here, 1 copy here, and another copy right there. And actually we don't need the upper C, so we can just get rid of the upper C. So that is how your octave should look like. So now that we have these keys, let's just color these black ones first. I'm just going to select the black keys, hold down shift, press all the black keys, and the fill is going to be a black fill. So now it looks more like a keyboard. Now let's just select all of these together, right click, and group them up so we don't mess up the alignment and stuff like that. So now we're just going to keep this aside, and now we are going to make a bigger rectangle with rounded edges. So that will be more like how a Midi controller looks like. Actually, this keyboard is more like a Midi controller. If you're familiar with the M Audio Axiom 2-octave keyboard, this is more like it. So let's create a rounded rectangle. You know what, actually I'm just going to select go with the hard cornered rectangle, and then I'm going to apply an effect to this one. So let's just get rid of the fill. It does not need a fill. And all right, so now I'm going to select the rectangle, go to effect, and under stylize you are going to see this round corners effect. Just select the effect and click on preview so you can see how much the corners are being rounded off, and then you can adjust that to how much ever you want them to be rounded. I guess I want them to be rounded a little less, about, say, that looks good. I'm just going to say okay, and fine. Now we need to place the keys inside the keyboard, inside the controller, that is, and this looks like a good place to. I'm just going to keep it a little above the edges, so I feel that is fine. And okay, I think I'm going to resize this a little bit. First, let's hit right click and send this to back so it does not overlap the keys. And now it's time to resize our object. I think that should be fine, somewhere around that much. Now we need to make all the controllers and stuff, so there's going to be an LCD panel right here. Then we're going to make a small trigger pad, which is like the kind of thing that you hit your fingers with, and hit with your fingers, what the hell. And there are going to be two those rotary wheels, the mod wheel and the whatever the other wheel is called. And so for the LCD, first I'm just going to go with a rectangle tool, and I think that should be, that should be it. And now that we have the LCD, let's make the small trigger pads. I'm again going to go with the rectangle tool, and holding down the shift key, I'm going to make a, okay, I messed up right there. Okay, this is going to be that small. Let's see how it fits into the keyboard. I think they need to be a little bigger. So hold down the shift key, stretch it out a bit. I think that should be fine. So now it is just as simple as making copies of this, holding down the option key. I'm going to make 3 copies of this vertically and 2 copies horizontally. So that's it. Oops. Actually, I'm using a trackpad over here, so I actually don't recommend using a trackpad while doing stuff with Illustrator because it really gets annoying. Mouse is better. I'm going to just select these and place them right there, and I think that looks perfect. Okay, I'm messing up things way too much. So now that we have the trigger pads, we need to just group them up, and right click, select group, and now I think we need to fill it with a black, solid black, and it's just going to look like a big rectangle. So now I'm just going to select them and give it a white stroke, so that kind of separates the black trigger pads. Looks much better. So we are almost done with this now. We just need to make the rotary wheels, and we'll be done with this one. Just go with the rounded rectangle tool and make an elongated rectangle. This will look more like a scroll wheel, and place it right there. Hold down the option key, make another copy with the centers aligned, and I think that should be it. We have the basic structure of our keyboard now. We just need to give it a bit of gradients and stuff so it looks more like a real keyboard. I'm just going to select the rectangle and give it a nice gray gradient. Where are the gradients? Okay, right there. I'm going to go with a gray gradient, and using the gradient tool you can choose from which direction you want the colors to grade. So I want it from the bottom right to the top left, and then I'm going to just adjust the gradient colors. I don't want it to be this light. I actually want it to be more like a black throughout and have a slight gray gradation or gradient over on the bottom right. So I'm just going to select a okay, make sure you set this to grayscale because we are only working with black and whites over here. And I'm going to darken this up a little bit, about that much. And the second knob, I'm going to just set this again to grayscale and keep it a little lighter, keep it a little darker, sorry, somewhere around 93, 94. I guess that should be fine. So now again, I'm just going to get rid of the stroke and right click and send it to back. Okay, that's it. So there we have a keyboard which has a nice gradient on the body, has the white and black keys. I guess the keys could be a little smaller, so I'm just going to select this and make it a little smaller, holding down the shift key so we don't mess up the aspect ratio that we had started out with. Okay, should be fine right there. So this looks better, and I'm going to select the rectangle for which we made for the LCD, give it a kind of light blue color, the kind of typical color you get with these LCDs, and I'm going to get rid of the stroke. So I guess that's it, and you can do a lot more with this. You can do a better detailed job, but this is just the basic of how to get the structure right. And yeah, that's it. I hope you found the tutorial to be helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I'll be updating a lot more stuff related to Illustrator, Photoshop, and a lot more tech tips. So thanks a lot. Bye bye.